Bingo here. In this video, predominantly I'm going to show you the use of the software tool called the in-play scanner, in addition to another sort of major trade that I did, which I actually selected pre-match. We sort of kicked off quite quickly with a Swedish game where I'd already used the scanner. At the top of the screen there you can see Husqvarna versus Hammarby. I mean, it was 1-1, and what I'd done was I'd laid the favourite Husqvarna, who were leading 1-0 up until about the 80th minute, and I also laid the correct score 1-0 in that game too. And I based that on the statistics that the in-play scanner showed me, and I shall sort of go into more detail about what those stats are and how the tool can show you how to use these sort of very important statistics in play. Okay, that Hammarby game, we actually sort of made a nice profit of about 30 or 41 pounds. And I moved on, and one thing that caught my eye, and remember with the scanner you've got a whole list of games, and there are all kinds of functions here. You can enter sort of how much in the match odds you want to start with. Let's say 5,000, so therefore you're going to get a lot of games. If you actually just input you only want to look at games where 50,000 is matched, you can do that too. So this is a Friday night and kind of not much liquidity, and there was a particular game I was looking at, Babelsberg against Carl Zeiss Jena, and the home side, who were leading 1-0, got a red card in about the 70th minute. So therefore I was thinking, great, I'm going to jump on laying the leading team. Unfortunately, there was actually no liquidity there whatsoever, sort of 4,000 in the match odds market, and very little, about less than 1,000 in the correct score. So I couldn't really do anything with that, unfortunately, so I placed it into my favourites. And I'll come back to that and see if I can actually do anything with that in the last sort of 15-20 minutes. There was just a quick confirmation of the Hammersby 1-1 result, which I'd sort of mentioned was a £41 profit there. Alright, so we'll leave Carl Zeiss Jena. We'll come back to that one in a minute. And what you can see here is that I'm sort of looking at the statistics that the in-play scanner can give you. And the column you can see there sort of range from shots on target, shots off target, corners, possession, throw-ins, fouls, red cards, you name it, it's got it. And you can use these in play to make a sort of considered judgment on if you're going to enter a trade or not. So as the video rolls on, I'm going to be sort of looking at various games and with sort of various criteria, so therefore I'm going to be applying particular strategies and techniques depending on sort of what the score is, what the odds are, what time the match is. So there's kind of quite a few sort of different approaches that I'll be using within this particular video. Now, Hammersby actually scored in the 94th minute, but not to worry, our trade was over in that particular game. So I'm looking, this is Friday night, so there's a full card of the French League 2. I'm sort of looking here at sort of teams that I kind of do know. Arles against Tours. Tours I know are always kind of quite good for goals. They're sort of trailing 1-0 to Arles. Valenciennes Créteil, that's another team, Créteil, who are also sort of good for goals, stats will tell you. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on that one. This is what you do with the scanner. You're kind of picking out not just the statistics you can see there, but also sort of based on your own sort of particular knowledge of sort of various leagues. Obviously, having traded football for a number of years, there are particular leagues and particular teams I'm kind of aware of. So having that kind of knowledge to hand is obviously useful too, because when you want to enter a trade, you want to do it quickly. Don't dither about, don't kind of sort of go all over the place trying to look for stats in play, and this is where the beauty of the in-play scanner can really help you. Now, my major trade, which I selected, placed my bets pre-match, was Bayer Leverkusen against Werder Bremen, the Bundesliga 1 fixture. Leverkusen had started this season's campaign very brightly, undefeated in 5, scoring lots of goals. Bremen, new manager, not quite ticking, but a bit unlucky last week. And they got a sort of 2-2 draw, and yeah, they were sort of looked like they were worth a few goals too. So that was going to be my major trade. I was going to be looking at goals in that Leverkusen game. We'll be coming back to that one. Now there we go. As I sort of predicted, and I wanted to jump on this trade, the Carl Zeiss Jena, they equalised. The red card sort of earlier on told me that that's a particular trade that I wanted to enter, but the liquidity there was so poor that it was just impossible to get matched. So anyway, that went to 1-1. A trade missed, but there are others I'll be able to jump on. Now here's another favourite of mine. A team that's leading 2-0 at half time. And we have Angers versus Ajaccio in the French Ligue 2. And I'm going to be looking at match odds in that to see who was the favourite pre-match, because when a team's leading 2-0 at half time, the beauty of your entry point there, of course, is that it's very, very cheap. Now Leverkusen went into a 1-0 lead after 16 minutes. That's kind of quite good news. And we should be coming back to the particular bets I've made. In the correct score market, I backed 2-1, 2-0, 3-1 and 3-all. And keep your eye on that. I've got £445 green on 3-all. And that, as the video will show us later on, came in very, very handy. I've also laid any unquoted in the correct score 2 home market. I won't sort of go into full detail about this particular market. There's already a video I've done explaining the value of this, what I consider to be an underused market. And I've laid any unquoted pre-match at 1.24 for £200. So I had a £50 liability on any unquoted and £200 green on the rest. So what I wanted for that particular market was Leverkusen to score 2-3 goals, and then I would be able to start laying some of that £200 off, because the 4-0, the 4-1, etc. Would all come in should Leverkusen bag sort of 2 or 3 goals. Now I'm going to sort of try and reduce my red here of £50 on the correct score 2 home market. The market, as you can see, is not really sort of formed that well. There's lots of gaps. There's a 1.37 available. Okay, I'd laid for 1.25 in fact pre-match. Now I could have taken 1.37. I put it in order at 1.8. Hey, you never know. Someone might take that from you. So I just left that there. On the scanner there you can see just highlighted there's a sort of a green light bulb just to the sort of right of the particular match that you are interested in. Click that and you'll get a sound alert should a shot on target happen or a goal scored. So that's kind of an extra alert you can get. Yeah, I decided on this 2-0 lay Angers against Ajaccio at 1.06. Just had a quick look at the last head-to-heads, what was going on in their league position. Angers 4th, Ajaccio 9th. They played 5 games each. It's okay. Angers were 2.1 pre-match favourites. Okay, they scored a couple of very sort of quick goals. Yeah, they were worth taking on, certainly at 1.06. It only takes a reply from Ajaccio to make some kind of profit on the match odds market there. And it's a very cheap price. I've laid Ajaccio at 1.6 for £100. There's my liability, just £6, and I just want 1 goal from Ajaccio in the next 25-30 minutes. And again, just notice I've added that to my favourites column. Back over to Leverkusen. It's 21 minutes gone, 1-0. My 1.8 order not been matched. Someone's actually just sort of jumped in front of me at 1.79 there. Now maybe he's hoping that I'll just try and come in and below that, 1.7 or something. Well, I'm not going to. I want 1.8. If you want it, you can take it. I would say it's a bargain. All right, I'm going to clear at least some of this red here. I've backed for £50 at 1.38, reduced my green from £200 to 150, and it's reduced my £50 liability on any unquoted to 31. At the same time, I've reduced my order at 1.8 from £50 down to 25. So you can see there, I want to highlight some of the games I'm interested in. I should be clicking you see there on the right of the scanner there, the yellow light bulb. You'll be seeing shortly, I hope, that I've sort of clicked some of those. It's sort of quick, easy access should anything sort of happen. Because in the video, I think in the end I've got 4 or 5 sort of particular trades that I entered. So therefore, that's why I need this sort of very quick access that the scanner can actually offer. Right, looking at Braga, and I thought, of course, it was the Portuguese First Division team. It wasn't. It was the Second Division, so I thought, no, I'm going to leave that. It's Portugal. What do I mean by it? It's just Portugal. A veteran member of ours, Gundolf, who has a particular interesting relationship with Portuguese league football. There we go. So not too much happening. Still Leverkusen, my major trade, 1-0 after 24 minutes. I haven't entered anything else at the moment. There you can see with the mouse which is hovering on that particular column there, you can see that's the amount of money that's been traded in the match odds market. And you can see the Leverkusen game, there's what, 335,000 been traded there, as opposed to the one just below it, some Polish game, Second Division game, I think 5,600. And you can see, you can actually filter with the scanner the games according to the amount of money that's been matched. So you don't have to kind of bother with all these kind of very sort of low liquidity Mickey Mouse games. Now it's still 1-0, and at this point I'm kind of looking, it's not too bad. I mean 2-0 there, which I backed pre-match at 9.2. That's obviously sort of steadily coming in as the match progresses. Now 7.4. I've got sort of £93 on that. However, 1-1 is a real big danger for me, and 1-2 of course also. I'm thinking here about laying sort of in the match odds. I'm checking the prices on the 2.5 goal market. Is there anything sort of interesting there? Overs at 1.35? No, that's far too low for me. Any purchase perhaps or value on the over 4.5? Again, no, that doesn't kind of interest me either. So I'm just putting a kind of a what if here just to see. Alright, laid for £40 with a £14 liability on that. 21 minutes. No, I'm going to leave that. So I'm going to stick with particular insurance to cover against this possible 1-1 or even a Bremen win by laying Leverkusen for £40 at 1.14. Now, given that I've got a £31 liability on the correct score 2 market and a £46 liability on the correct score, that £40 lay there, well, it covers, let's say, around about sort of 50% of my sort of total liability. That's what we can call insurance. It's a move which I think is sensible when we're trading. We're trying to sort of manage our position. What that means is, obviously, we're trying to sort of maximize any particular profit, but also we're trying to take cover by minimizing our risk at the same time. Right, the Carl Zeiss Jena game, which I mentioned, possible to enter, that's gone slightly crazy. It's now sort of 2-2. Up to this point, just sort of half an hour into the evening trading, I still have only sort of entered one trade, the Swedish game Hammarby, which is now already finished. Sort of £41 profit there, and I've just got the major trade of the Leverkusen Bremen, which is I'll be keeping my eye on that all the time, and the Angers Ajaccio 2-0 lay. Game also again a leading team 2-0. In this case it's Bologna in the Serie B in Italy. And I kind of looked there again. Bologna were pre-match trading at what 3.3, something like that, and they were leading 2-0. And this was a trade, actually, an entry point that I missed. I mean, I'd taken the Angers Ajaccio 2-0 lay quite readily, and I should have done the same for this Pescara Bologna game, especially as it was an away side too. The in-play stats were showing that Bologna were sort of well on top, so I gave that a sort of a semi-miss, but I wanted to kind of keep my eye on it. We'll see later that my eyesight wasn't sort of too clever in that particular case. Now back to Leverkusen, 33 minutes gone. The goals aren't really coming here. Okay, I've got this £93 cover on 2-0, that's okay. So nothing too kind of anxious at the moment with the Leverkusen game. Lyon Monaco. Well, Monaco, it's strange because the two sides made a fairly sort of poor start to the season, lying 15th and 17th in the table. Now, a draw was probably a fairly reasonable result. I kind of wanted to keep my eye on that particular game. Lyon were at the lead after about, sort of 35 minutes. 1.64 to lay. I was considering it. I put it into my favourites. I was going to sort of come back to that. So, back to League 2 in France. Créteil, yep, kind of remembered them as a team good for goals. It's 1-1 in that particular game with Valenciennes coming up to half time there. Yep, again sort of kept my eye on Monaco, but a bit too late. They equalised just on the stroke of half time, 1-1 with Lyon. So Valenciennes into the second half, and decided to employ a particular strategy where I'm backing the draw and also backing over 3.5 goals. Now it's a sort of fairly simple strategy, this, whereby it's only 2-1 or 1-2 scoreline will actually prove your undoing. So obviously the double bonus is if the score ends 2-2, so you win both on the draw and on the over 3.5 goals. Be careful if you're staking here. I've backed the draw for £25 at 2.28, and I've backed over 3.5 for £20 at 3.15. So should it go to 3-1 or 1-3, I would have won at the over 3.5 market but lost on the match odds. Conversely, I would win on the match odds if it stayed 1-1 but lose on the over 3.5. So I'd sort of make a profit either way. Just I've got to really keep my eye on for a very late 2-1 or 1-2 in that particular game. Now again, League 2, the scanner's sort of showing Orléans-Lavelle. Orléans certainly were pressing, 7 shots on target to Lavalle's 4. If I can scroll up here, okay, I've just highlighted that. Okay, 6 shots to Orléans, the home side, and they're losing 1-0. And what I've decided to do that particular game is a technique called the gunslinger, and we'll come back to that when I place the bets on that particular match. So there you can see my highlighted games. I've got Orléans-Lavelle, Angers-Ajaccio, Leverkusen-Bremen, and Lyon-Monaco. And this Polish game, having a look at, again, the home side favourite, 4 shots to 1 on target, and they're losing 1-0 at home. What I want to do is to check the match odds pre-match, and that's confirmed. The home side, in fact, were sort of 2.1 pre-match favourites. So that game looks another candidate for what's called the gunslinger, whereby we lay the leading team in the match odds market, and we also lay the 1-0 scoreline. And a goal just on the stroke of half time by Bremen, 1-1. So the Leverkusen lay the match odds, a useful move. It doesn't get us out of trouble particularly, but what it does do, of course, is sort of bring into play some of the higher score lines. Leverkusen were the sort of 1.45 pre-match favourites, so the 2-1 and the 3-1, which I backed pre-match, should and will sort of come in. So I've got some kind of leverage there. And remember, I've also got this magical 3-3 scoreline, which I backed for £5 pre-match at 95 or 90.0. The correct score to home, well, it's sort of kind of half time, so therefore that market looks, as it stands, pretty much dead. I'm glad I sort of reduced my liability there from £50 to 31. Remember, for that particular market to win, I would need Leverkusen to sort of win by sort of at least 4-1 or 4-2. Orléans-Laval, 60 minutes gone in the French League 2 games. Valencia and Créteil still 1-1 there. Orléans still 0-1, so I'm looking for some goals, particularly in the Orléans-Laval game. And the Pescara-Bologna game, which I mentioned earlier, I did kind of want to keep that on the side when Bologna were leading 2-0. And again, they were leading 3-0. I missed a beat there, really. That was, trading sort of 1.02 by that point, and that would have been a classic lay, just in the same kind of style and approach as if you were sort of laying a 2-0 scoreline. You're getting sort of very, very cheap odds with a potential very good upside. Orléans-Laval, I'm sort of quietly confident here. 63 minutes gone. Orléans still 7 shots on target. Price is now looking a little bit kind of within range. I've decided to enter the trade here after about it's about 62 minutes in fact. This particular strategy, called the Gunslinger, I'm laying the leading team Laval in the match odds at 1.4, taking 1.49, 4.7 I think, and the correct score 0-1 I'm laying at 2.1 for £20. The match odds, laying finger on the buzzer, is it 30? No, it was for £25, right. So the mathematics there are sort of relatively simple. Should equalise, win £5 on the match odds, win £20 on the correct score market. If it went to 0-2, I would win £20 on the correct score market, but lose 11 or £12 the match odds market. Either way, I need a goal, preferably to the home side here. It would give me what we kind of call a double bubble. I get a result on both markets for those two bets to get matched. Good news. Angers Ajaccio 2-1. The goal was disallowed. Now 61 minutes gone. Now that would have been perfect. Remember, we laid Angers at 1.06 for £100. If that goal had stood from Ajaccio to make it 2-1 with 30 minutes left, Angers' price would have drifted to round about sort of 1.27, 1.3, and I would have made a nice sort of £20 odd profit for that. Unfortunately, the goal was disallowed, and I don't know why. Okay, back to the scanner. I'm sort of narrowing it down now. I've got the three sort of major games. 4 major games I should say: Orléans-Laval, Valencia and Créteil, Angers-Ajaccio, all from the French League 2, and my main trade, Leverkusen-Bremen, which is now 1-1 at half time. Okay, so at half time in the Leverkusen game, I've done another sort of calculation, and I don't really want to lose sort of £40 if it stays a draw or Bremen win. So because I've got this sort of £93 green on the 2-1, but that's sort of £75, £80 on the 3-1 to Leverkusen, I've decided to lay Leverkusen again because they're still sort of 1.48. The market obviously expects them to sort of go on and win the game. They started the pre-match around about those same sort of odds, so I thought it was worth another lay there, so I've increased my liability to £29 on Leverkusen, but £90 green on Bremen or the draw. I'm getting rid of some sort of unwanted matches on the scanner. There's a red delete button you can see just underneath the light bulb to kind of make it slightly clearer for me. And we're getting into sort of the 80th minute here. As I mentioned before, the Valencia and Créteil, where I backed the draw and backed over 3.5 at half time, now it's still 1-1. The danger is really at 2-1 and 1-2 now. So I've decided to exit the match odds, to be laying the draw 0.42. So eventually I've decided to put my order in at 1.38 for £39. And that will give me a match about £16 green on the draw, £14 on Valencia and Créteil. Remember, I've got £20 liability on the over 3.5 market, so I could be looking at about sort of £4 or £5 loss here, or a bit less actually. Three. If he stays a draw, I'd lose £3.23p. But I had to cover myself against a sort of very late sort of 2-1 or 1-2. If that happened, I'd lose on both markets. So obviously that was the reasoning behind exiting the match odds at least. And good news is there's our Orléans goal to make it 1-1. The lay of 0-1 comes in, so I've won £20 on the correct score market. We're sort of coming to the final 2 minutes, so the draw price now is at sort of 1.1. What I need to do to cover myself against a very, very late winner by Laval is I need to back them. Let's be careful here. The prices look 5.4. I'm not taking that. £23 a lay. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. There we go. The market sort of settles down a bit. It's about what, 1-2 minutes left to play here. So I put in an order for £3 at 11s. This gives me £22 green on Orléans and the draw, and £18.50 green on Laval. So a guaranteed profit of sort of what, £41, £42 or £38, whatever the result now. I think the Angers-Ajaccio game still 2-0, 5 minutes to go. I think I've lost the £6 there. And in the 60th minute, quite a surprise, as Bremen take a 2-1 lead. Okay, that additional lay at half time has sort of worked in my favour, so now I've got £90 green Bremen and the draw, and £29 red on Leverkusen. The correct score market in Leverkusen, of course, is now kind of dead, except for the 3-3, and we'll see later on in the game how that really sort of paid dividends. As you can see there, we've got £405 green on the 3-3 scoreline. Now the point about that is, I backed it for £5. It's not as though I expect I'm going to win £405 on this particular trade, but what I want to do, I would hope to do, is to use that £405 as leverage to cover some other scorelines. So I backed it at 90.0 pre-match. I'm putting the lay here at 22s for £10, £20 waiting to be matched by £10, I should say, 22s. So that'll bring the green on the 3-3 down to about £200. Of course, it will also reduce red on the other score lines there, the 1-2 in particular, and the 2-2. Still got sort of £4 left to be matched. But because I've, the market obviously thinks that, Leverkusen sort of could score, and I was just about to sort of cancel that last £4, which was an additional sort of £82 that it would have been deducted from the 3-3 score. It wasn't matched, so that was kind of slightly fortuitous, but I was just on the point of cancelling that last £4 anyway. So the score goes to 2-2. Now the 3-3 scoreline, which about 5 minutes previously I've been looking to lay at 22s, has now sort of come in. The market hasn't sort of reformed or settled down properly yet. You can see there it's an offer to lay at 23s, back at 3.65. There it goes, settling down a bit. So now I'm going to take a price. I've asked for 8s. I'm going to lay it for £10. I won't get 8, of course, here, so we're going to have to amend that. So I'm going to be laying the 3-3 for £10 at, I think I'm going to ask for 12s here. No, I'm going to take the 13s. What am I doing? 12.5. Go on. You can see the score at the top there on the Betfair screen. I mean, it says 1-2, but in fact, it's 2-all. Just there we go. I haven't refreshed that. So that's just confirmation. We've got sort of £90 green on the draw, but we've got this £29 red on Leverkusen. So what happens if it goes to 3-2? Quite a bit of trouble. So that's why I'm having to use as much of this sort of green I've got on the 3-3 to cover myself against this particular 3-2 scoreline. Any unquoted, that's not such a bad problem at all, because remember, I've got a £150 green on that particular market. So if it goes to 4-2, I'm okay. But just a very late 3-2, I'm in trouble. But there's about sort of 25 minutes left in the Leverkusen game. Then we can see I've got these £150 green. Now 4-2 obviously will be delicious, but it's a 3-2 that I'm going to be worried about. I'm just thinking, is it can I lay the 4-2, but the prices are, they're haywire. I could ask for something. I could try asking for maybe 4s, lay that for £20, say. But is there a better option? Okay, there's back to the Angers Ajaccio, coming up to the full-time whistle. 2-0 there. So that's a £6 loss. Confirmed. Disallowed goal, unfortunately. Put pay to any profit there. So really, I'm just left now with the German game. Yeah, as I said earlier, the Bologna were leading 3-0 after about 50 odd minutes, and were possible potential lays at 1.02, 1.01 even, and I missed it. And Pescara actually could have got a goal back to make it 1-3. So that was kind of an opportunity missed, really. 67 minutes gone in the Leverkusen-Bremen game. And there's confirmation of the Valencian Créteil ended 1-1. So I got sort of £16.77 on the draw profit and £20 red on the over 3.5. So a £3 loss there. I'm still considering this Polish game by laying the away side, who are still leading 0-1 with about 70 minutes played. Now this 3-2 Leverkusen, it's 70 odd minutes, a late 3-2 would put in a fair bit of trouble. So I've got to lay something, or I've got to back something here. So I'm just looking at what if I to laid 4-2, £20 at 4.8. That would reduce my green down to £74. Not quite good enough. Yeah, I didn't think hard enough about the Pescara Bologna game. Laid at 1.03 there when they were leading 0-3. Now you could back it at 1.72. So easy, big money, big profits available. And 73 minutes, 3-2 to Leverkusen. At this point, I was obviously I was looking at a loss there if it stayed 3-2, but I'd had a big feeling before the game. I thought this was going to be goals a go, and it didn't worry me too much. I just thought there was still going to be sort of more goals here, but I had to cover myself. There's no point in actually laying the 3-3 anymore. What I could do, I decided, was to lay the any unquoted, which was kind of quite low at this point in the game, sort of around about even money. I laid any unquoted at 2.12 for £40. So of course, if Leverkusen scored a fourth goal, I'd win 150 on the 4-2, lose £73 on the correct score market, and £29 on the match odd. So I would make sort of £50 profit if Leverkusen managed to score a fourth, and it would be even better news, of course, if Bremen could actually equalise to make it 3-3. So because I still got sort of £204 to play with, didn't do any harm at all to put another £10 lay in on the 3-3 and 11s for £10. So that's sort of taking some of the pain away from the 3-2 scoreline. 80 green on the 3-2. I've got £104 green on 3-3, plus of course £90 in the match odds. So I've got £190 if it goes to 3-3, less the £31 red on the correct score 2 market. Now, 9 minutes to go. I'm thinking, okay, 4-2, no, okay, great. 3-3, even better, of course. Ooh, what about a 4-3? So I'm thinking sort of 2 goals ahead. The best option in this particular scenario was to lay under 6.5 goals at sort of 1.12 for £40. And in the 84th minute, Bremen equalise, and it's 3-3. Now, of course, at this point, you're thinking, oh, God, I had that £405 green at the beginning of the match. If only I'd left it. Well, we're trading, so we can't do that. But what you can do is use that money, as leverage to cover yourself. And what you've seen in this particular kind of exercise is that I used that green on the 3-3 by laying it at various points throughout the game when goals went in. So yes, obviously it reduced the green £405 down to £104 by the 85th minute, and I'd laid it 4 times by that point. So the last lay under 6.5 has gone in. Now here I've got £104 green on the 3-3 plus £90 in the match odds if it stays a draw. That's £190 less £31. I've got £160 to play with. I'm going to be laying 3-3 again, this time at 1.41 for £80. I'm going to lay it again. For £70 at 1.34. So that brings that down now from that initial pre-match figure of 405 to £47.40. Got any unquoted, £86. Now remember, the correct score 2 market is now dead, because you don't have 4-3, 4-all, 5-3, 3-4. So that market's dead. So I've lost £31 for definite on that market. But if Leverkusen do score to make it 4-3, I've got like £29.60 red there on them. So I want to, so I can back any unquoted here, and a goal from either side would really sort of put the icing on the cake. Backing any unquoted for £20 at 4.4. There it's matched. Now I've got £27.40 on 3-3 and £154 on any unquoted. So obviously a final late goal by either side would be fantastic. But if it stays 3-3, well, I've got £117.40 in total, less the £31 red on the correct score 2 market. And you can see there the lays. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lays on 3-3 that total £176. That's really just to show how that £5 initial back pre-match at 90s, was very, very useful, that I could actually then lay for sort of £170 to help cover on other scorelines. Well, the game ended 3-3, so a good night all round. And by using the scanner, I was able to identify a number of opportunities, some of which I admit I sort of missed out on. I was a little bit slow on the Pescara-Bologna game, for example. I could have done something there, but it picked out some other useful games, which I made a small loss on some of them, and I made a nice profit on a couple of the others. Good, so get yourself over to www.inplaytrading.com and also to www.tradingfootball.eu. And for those of you watching this video, just a quick reminder that on Tuesday night, 7:30, the 16th of September, there is a free open night where you're all warmly invited to our chat room. Just register on the website at www.tradingfootball.eu, and we look forward to seeing you then. Good, thanks for watching.